Hello and welcome to this Jane's weather update. It is Friday, April 5th, and as usual, there's a lot going on, so let's get into it. In the east, we have yet another weather system coming through. What did we have? We had Cyclone Megan that was up through here, came inland, drenched all of these inland parts late last week and over the weekend. Then it came across Victoria because it met up with a weather system, and it slowed down over central parts, which is where the heaviest falls were. Now that moisture is still here. It has moved up and through here. It's over southern Queensland and eastern New South Wales. Now it is interacting with the very warm, incredibly warm Tasman Sea. So both of those moisture sources are working together. This is a very moisture-laden system, and we've got a cut-off low that is developing. So what is that doing? Already to 8:50 a.m. in Sydney, 111 millimetres of rain. You can see that's one of the biggest ones, but some pretty decent falls all in through here. So where are we going from here? Let's have a look. In our rain area, we have high pressure that is across the south here. Here's the makings of that low pressure system. It's got very good upper level energy. So this is going to develop as the day goes on. Big falls all in through these parts here. The high is going to move out of the way. Let's have a look at this. So here is our 8-day outlook. We've got activity up the top, but it's very up the top, excuse me. But here we have in southern parts of Queensland, so the southeast now, all of these eastern parts of New South Wales and just coming out into the southwest of New South Wales. But look at that, it doesn't cross the border. It really doesn't go into Victoria except in this far east here, and it's not the heavy falls. Then looking at all of this part across the southeast here, that is from cold fronts next week. So this particular system we have here is moving through southeast Queensland, eastern New South Wales, just into the southwest of New South Wales, eastern Victoria, far eastern Victoria without the heavy falls, and not quite making it into Tasmania now. All right, let's have a look at day by day. So day one, here is Friday. Here is our activity. Here is our activity continuing. Big heavy falls coming into here. Not for Victoria today, not for Tasmania. High pressure over the top. As we head into Saturday, here it is moving through these western parts of New South Wales as well, but still has some activity continuing here in Queensland. And we've got it coming into these eastern parts of Victoria and not quite making it to Tasmania. There it goes, just clipping that as we go into Sunday, with a little bit of light rain coming up across southern parts of Victoria from that one, but still happening here in southeast Queensland. But by Sunday, we're taking a break in New South Wales. As we go into Monday, all clear. That is over. That one is done and dusted. Big heavy falls, all done by Monday. Whereas now we start to have a look at the next system that's coming through the southeast. Here we have it coming in on Tuesday, and there's a little bit to follow up. So this is a very southeast system that just moves into southeast New South Wales as well, but does not extend its way right up the coast. Instead, we've got a low that is up in through here. Do keep an eye on that. Does it become a cyclone? At the moment, it's not crossing the coast. Maybe something coming down in through here. Otherwise, across the top end, it's limiting itself right up there for the moment as we go through to the middle to end of next week. Okay, let's have a look at that in detail. So what is that doing to the temperature? It's making it cold. So what you've got is all of this upper level cold energy that is helping make what's happening on the system, on the surface there, a lot stronger. But that does come with some colder air. So here it is all through these parts, but the heat is hanging on over in the west. So cooler than average, heat hanging on in the west. This is next week, and particularly next week across the southeast, you'll notice how chilly it is. Let's have a look at the rainfall to match that one. So by Monday, we know it's all over here, so we're back to drier conditions. The cold fronts next week, they do not have a connection to tropical moisture, so it's just a standard cold front. Cold air, yes, but not a lot of wet weather. And you can see here, it affects the usual suspects in Victoria, so the southwest coast, all of southern Gippsland and up into the ranges, but it doesn't penetrate any further north. In fact, what we're talking about here is the juicy rainfalls with this one. Here it affects the southwestern part of Tasmania, does not make it into the northeast or much of the east at all. Typical cold front activity where there's no tropical connection. However, we do have all of this activity up here. We've got it off the coast here. This one might not quite be picking it up. So this was run here. So that might not be the case there, but definitely off the coast. Yes, we've got a lot of activity. But here, Northern Territory and far northern parts of Queensland, because we've got that activity coming in there. I'll show you what's happening on the MJO in a sec. Okay, let's have a look at the following week. So this is week 2, starting on Monday, the 15th of April. This is interesting. So we had the activity up through here, and this shows that in week 2, maybe that starts to come down. Is this our next source of tropical moisture that could fuel our systems as we head through this very critical time in autumn. However, all of this shows us that cold fronts aren't going to be linking up with that tropical moisture as yet, and it is a bit of a subdued patterning through there. So that is week 2. As we have a look at the temperature associated with that, the cool air does linger. But this heat that is in the west, it was just a strip in through here. Now it is heading further inland. So in week 2, we could have another warm up in the southwest. And then we'll see what that does for the rest of the country as we go further ahead. Okay, having a look at Sam. Now this one here, very positive at the minute. What is that doing? Oh, that's creating that cut-off low that's moving across southeastern Queensland and eastern New South Wales. And then moving out to sea as it goes past Victoria and Tasmania. So this is responsible for that activity and through there. We know that we don't look at the outlook of this. It's always neutral, but it's coming back down in through here. Now, strong cold fronts coming up early next week. We would expect this to be a lot further south if they were going to be a lot stronger. So yes, we're going to see some alpine snow from it, but probably not a lot because we don't have the right pattern in through here. Having a look at the MJO, this one is our tropical influence. Whenever it's in the green, we go, okay, what's that going to do for us? And you can see here it is. It has been quiet for the last little bit. You'll notice it, apart from the remains of Cyclone Megan, we haven't had a lot of tropical influence. However, now it's heading back. And that is exactly what this activity in through here, which is this one here. And then in week 2, sorry, wrong one. In week 2, this activity in through here. So we're having another influence from, where are we here? MJO. We're having another bit of an influence as this moves past us here. This is a bit stronger than what the models were initially suggesting. So we might actually get something from that. All right, longer term. Here's our sea surface temperature anomaly, how much warmer or cooler than average it is. Here's our incredibly warm Tasman Sea. That's not going anywhere. So whenever we can get an easterly airflow, that is a great source of moisture. However, we do look at these 2 boxes to see what's happening in the long term. Indian Ocean, this one all being yellow means that the moisture is being sent away from Australia. This one all being yellow and red means the moisture is being sent away from Australia. However, here is our blue that has just picked up. We've got a new map in through here. March has come in. This graphic here looks under the surface. It tells us what the surface is about to do. So over on this side, we've got December, January, February, March. So we're going month by month. Over on this side, it's Australia. Over on this side, it's South America. We're looking at blue. Here it was back in December, brewing, getting excited, starting to move. January, February. Now we've been through March. Look how blue, how strong that blue is. You'll notice we had red on the surface here, whereas now that red has disappeared and this blue is ready to go. So this tells us that this box here is about to go a change, about to undergo a change. It's not going to happen overnight. This all moves very slowly, but over the next couple of months, all of this should start to turn to blue. Now, what that blue means is blue out here and orange back through here. We flip again and the Pacific Ocean starts sending moisture in our direction. Again, not happening in the next couple of months. This is later on this year. This is as we head into La Nina once again, if all of that works out. But that's what all of the modelling is suggesting, which is here. So here we are in our El Nino where it sends it away from us. Not a strong one in terms of the impacts for us because we still had the red that was off through here, but that's what the Pacific Ocean is doing out there. Okay, so here we have it in our El Nino here. All of the modelling suggests that we are coming out of that. We know we've got that blue under the surface ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4 models all crossing the threshold. The USA threshold is a little bit weaker here, so they'll go earlier first. So the Americans will call it first. They always will because their threshold is lighter. Also, they call it when we're about to go into it, whereas the Bureau waits. We've been there for quite some time, and then it goes, oh, by the way, yes, we are in this particular system. So the Bureau is always the last one to call it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all those 4 models. 1, 2, 3. These ones are all in a downwards trajectory. We see the blue under there. This gives us a good idea that most likely that ocean is going to flip into that. In terms of what it actually does to us, that is the harder part of the equation. Let's have a look over at the Indian Ocean. We saw that box was incredibly yellow, so that's not where we want it if we want moisture from the Indian Ocean. Here we are. It bobs around over summer and at the start of autumn, as it always does each year. This is related to the monsoon and where the tropical cyclones are. Whereas as we start to go through autumn, this will have a bit more of an impact on us here. Now you can see this is likely to be going into a positive Indian Ocean dipole. That's where we were last year, so it means that the Indian Ocean doesn't send us a lot of moisture. So those juicy northwest cloud bands are less likely as we go through here. Now, 1, 2, 3 models by August, September, starting to head down. This one has a very down trajectory too. This one doesn't, but most of them heading in the downwards way. If it goes in through here, this is a big if it goes across here, then that could mean a helping hand from the Indian Ocean as we finish the year in terms of some wet weather coming down from there. But as we go through autumn and winter, looks like the Indian Ocean is not going to help us out. Okay, let's have a look at what's going on. I've picked Sydney for today, obviously, because they've got the rainfall, that 111 by 8:50 a.m. I'll just have a very quick update to see what that has done now. And heading in there, just having a look at the screening through here, 111 was the final amount for the 24-hour period. Okay, here we have more to come today. Average 33 millimetres, 24 to 44, so this is continuing to go. There's another big increase as we go through overnight. They did pick up, what did I count, 73 millimetres in 2 hours overnight. All right, so another big increase as we go through here and then tapering off as we go later on, but 41 to 98. The average is 68 millimetres for Sydney tomorrow. So Sydney hammered today and tomorrow, most of it in the early hours of the morning, and then tapering off as we go through the later part of the day. And then by Sunday, head out there, warmer temperatures return. There's no winds either, and there should be a fair bit of sunshine. Okay, let me show you a nice new exciting feature that we have launched here. The team has been so hard at work this week getting this ready for you. So if you are on the pro trial, come on in and have a look at what we have got for you. And if you aren't on the pro trial yet, it closes on Monday, so register now so that we can get you in there. All right, I have chosen my farm here, which is here. So this is our observations. Currently, it's 14 degrees. We've got no wind down there. Yep, there's a high pressure system over this. This is down in the southeast in the Mornington Peninsula, so in Victoria. And so we've got our feels like. So this is the current conditions here and our extremes for the day. So overnight, bottomed out at 11. So far, 13.6, which is what we've got now. That's our highest wind gust, which you wouldn't expect to be very high, thanks to that high pressure system. We show the 24 hours to 9 a.m. and the rain since 9 a.m. So you get both of those in through there. History is coming soon, and that will be a graph showing how the temperature changed, how the lots and lots of different variables that are listed here, and you can watch them over time. So that is still to come. Now, to configure your weather stations, actually, let's just have another look at one. McDowell, you may have met up with Josh, who is our BDM and client liaison. This is his weather site. It is in Brisbane, so in southeast Queensland. 6 millimetres since 9 a.m. That's what they had the day before, and currently sitting on 21. So you've got all of that information, what it is at the moment and what the extremes are and when that was updated. History is coming soon. Now, to configure those, so here's your list of what you all have in through here, and you can have bureau stations in there as well, or your own personal ones. We configure weather stations, which is right here. So now we have separated weather stations and we're calling them additional locations. So what this means is, if it's in the weather stations list, this is your personal collection of weather stations, your own ones and bureau ones as well. Whereas our additional locations, these are your saved town locations. You don't have a weather station there, but it's somewhere that you want to keep an eye on. And so this is your list, which is very extensive in my one, all the examples that I've shown you, and you can just simply add a location. So this one is you just type in whatever you want that place to be. So let's try, I don't know, Glenelg in South Australia. Done. We would save changes. Whereas if we want to go to weather stations, we add a station, and that is, here's the name you get to call it. You have whatever the provider is. So we've got there Metos, Origo, Wildeye, AgLogic, Weather Underground. Put in whichever one you are connected to. Give us some information about what the station is, i.e. the ID. If you're with Origo, put your tenant ID in there. And then if there is an API key, add that one in there too. For Weather Underground, it's 32 characters. Don't give us the short ones. We'll be coming back to you to sort that out. Okay, you put that in there and it will be added to your system. Now, with our weather stations, let's just cancel it out. You'll notice they are all now ready. Josh and I spent a very long night last night getting all of those clicked over, so you'll be able to see that now this morning if you are hooked up to one of those. At any time, if you have an issue with what's going on here, click Contact Us, send the message through, and we will sort it out. That's it for me today. Oh, another little bit is if you go to do your notifications, this one is still the favorite additional location. So I've got that one for Melbourne at the minute. But to set up our alerts, if we want to do a new one, add alert, we want it to be whatever it is. Let's go with strong winds. I need to know if they're over 55 k's an hour, and add new location. Oh, here we go. It's your weather station. So you can quickly add that for Alexandra and get an alert that comes through. Okay, that's all I've got today. See you next week. Bye.